Hey there, welcome to 1FG Archives. This is Just Chatting Volume 2. On today's segment, we're going to be talking about Metroid Rogue Dawn on the NES. We're going to talk about the game itself, a little bit of background of it, and we're going to talk about a little bit more detail about the game, and then we're going to talk about my world record run. So let's dive in. All right, so let's get started by giving you a little bit of the background of what Metroid Rogue Dawn actually is. It's basically it is a fan-made game. Just to break the ice a little bit. It was released on January 14th of 2017, so it's been around for a little bit. It was mainly created by Grimlock, Optimon, and Snarfblom, but also one of the main beta testers of it. You may have heard of him as well. Is Metroid MST, who I'm a little semi-acquainted with a little bit as well. I have been a part of GDQ where I did demo this game and all that. So it was good to have everybody see this game at its fullness and everything and all that goodness. Anyway, but to give you a little bit of background of it, this is coming directly from Metroid Construction website. Metroid Rogue Dawn is an unofficial prequel to the original Metroid game released in 1986. 30 years later, we bring you the events that unfolded before Samus's famous Zero mission on planet Zebes. The original Metroid manual tells us about a deep space research ship that was attacked. The space pirates seized a capsule said to contain a previously unknown life form in the state of suspended animation. Rogue Dawn surrounds these events that led up to the theft of the capsule, which ultimately placed the Metroids under the control of Ridley and the Mother Brain. The mission to acquire the capsule was placed in the hands of one of Ridley's best kept secrets, a rogue human agent trained and manipulated by Ridley from a young age. Taken as a child from the Galactic Federation colony, obliterated by Ridley's faction, she was initially just another test subject slated to undergo horrific experiments. Ridley decided to instead manipulate and mold her into a weapon, his first human servant and dark agent. Primed yet untested, she is sent out on her own Zero mission. She will retrieve a newly discovered biological specimen in the possession of the Federation research crew orbiting planet SR 388 and prove her worth. Her name is Dawn Aaron. Now, mind you, her last name is Aaron. Yes, I understand that, but she is not related to Samus by any means. In fact, the one thing that there was a lot of talk about in this game that say, well, this isn't right because she's not Chozo, she doesn't have any kind of like suit or anything like that that would be able to allow her to be able to, carry these weapons, have morph ball, have missiles, have all that kind of stuff. That aside, I think that if you go and you actually go into the little bit of the story as you progress through the game, you'll see that a lot of these things that the space pirates have at this point are actually experimental weapons. In fact, they have an experimental wave beam even in the game. It's not, and the reason why it's an experiment is because it actually doesn't go through walls. It does strengthen Aaron's weapon, Dawn Aaron's weapon, but it doesn't actually go through walls. It just strengthens. That's all it does, just give it better strength. So little things like that just to kind of think about as you go through the game. Now, why am I choosing to do this about Rogue Dawn? What can I say? I love this game so much. And it's not because I'm a world record holder. It's not, you know, it's just an amazing freaking game. I can't talk enough about it. In fact, I actually own an NES copy of it, and I even have a Famicom copy of it. Not to mention, which this was an extremely rare find, and a sealed copy of the game as well. Even has the background, like the box, how like the old NES games had like a little storyline with a few screenshots and all this on the front. The actual design of the game, everything. It even says on the bottom here, it says unofficial Nintendo release, or yeah, unofficial Nintendo what is it, reproduction. Sorry. couldn't remember what the heck it said there for a second, but that thing is rare. But you know, when I saw that on eBay, I just bought it right away because I said I love the game so much, and this would be just awesome. I remember my last segment, I was pointing like over here that I had it sitting on my little Chozo statue. Well, I wanted to show it off here a little bit, but anyway, moving on. I want to also give, I mean, if it wasn't for a couple years ago, I do want to give a huge shout out to my good friend Green Slade Gaming, Willie Will. He was the one that introduced me to this game on his stream about 2 years ago or so. And it just, I fell in love with it right from the get go. The simple fact is, you can just go through the game, yeah, as a scavenger hunt, trying to find items, and you can, or you can just try to blast your way through it, you know, trying to just like a regular Metroid game, any other Metroid game, you can either speed run it or you can actually just explore it to its vastness. You know, there's so many things that you can find in this game, so many little nooks and crannies that you can get yourself into. Especially when for me doing the world record run, I had there's so many places that you have to, and this before I get into that, actually, they even include wall jump boots in this. Okay, not something you would normally see in a regular Metroid game, especially for the NES. They included wall jump boots, which made a huge difference for a lot of this game rather. I mean, you can even morph jump, or you can jump wall jump into your morph ball, so you can get into little slots that are hard to get to, and that could even give you an extra energy fight. You can find an extra energy tank or missile tank or anything like that. The spring ball is also in this. There's just so many things that are just the variety that gives you such a variety. It's a platforming, it's a maze, it's just action adventure. I mean, what else could you ask for in a game? That's why I personally have given this my top notch of all time. I just love this game so much, and that's why I felt like I wanted to talk about it a little bit more in detail, because not only and this is also true, that this game has actually gotten many awards for top hacks of 2017, best and aesthetics. I'm sorry, I can't speak right now. Aesthetics, exploration, best overall. Those are the three awards that this thing got in 2017. And overall, I just, again, the latest version of it was 2.1, I'm sorry, 1.26 is the last version of it. But most people, like, I think that the ones like I have on this one are like 1.21. It's probably what the most common, like if you want to find a physical copy, you're going to find that version. There's really the only difference is, like, one of the things that I noticed is, like, when you finish the game at the end, the credits all of a sudden will just like come like extremely hard to read. If you watch my previous streams, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm actually going to be posting a link to my world record run in the description, so that you can actually check it out if you want. Um, but speaking of which, let's go ahead and dive into that world record run. Now, I have a good friend of mine who's over on the kick side, Bruce Odyssey, had challenged me. I was getting really, really close to the point where I was just like, you know what, I can't get any faster at this game. I can go ahead, submit a run. And for the record, I am the world record for 100% items found, no glitches, or like no major glitches. That's how they usually use the term. All bosses, no skips, no deaths, all that kind of stuff. So it's basically, you get to see the entire game. I find all the items. You get to see all of the bosses. And I get the heck out of it. And there's even an escape that you have to do in this game, which was also very, very fun. It wasn't as short as the original Metroid game was. It actually had a little bit of a challenge to it to get off the planet, or well, in this case, escape the Federation. Um, if you run out of time on your escape, you get captured by the Federation. So, in which case, yeah, you don't get to walk away when you give the specimen over to Ridley. But the thing is that at the end, and not there are spoilers in this, by the way. Um, the other part of it is that at the ending of the game, Dawn actually goes her own way. Drops off the specimen, and then she kind of just goes her own way. So she's not going to do space pirate stuff ever again. If there ever will be a sequel to this, who knows? But um, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But anyway, another thing about this game is that there's actually a map on the screen as well. There's a there's also a save there's also save states that you can, or like what do you call it, files, save files that you can actually have on the actual game, as so you can pick up where you left off if you keep going or anything like that. Anyway, back to the world record run. Mr. Bruce Odyssey gave me a challenge and says he wants me to beat the game the way I have been doing it, but do it less than 50 minutes. And I said, my goodness, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. And finally, one day, I was just randomly decided in the middle of the night, I think it was about 1 in the morning, maybe two, and I just decided to do a couple of practice runs or whatever, and I actually decided to go ahead and do a recording, and bam, I did it. I did it. And game time was 49:58, and then I signed that thing off. I actually gave him I actually sent over the cartridge to him, signed it with the game time on it, and with my name, the page name, and all that stuff, and it was an emotional moment. So I thought, here I was, I think I'm done with world record runs, anything else, that kind of thing, just whatever. He gave me another challenge to beat it under 49 minutes. I said, oh, you got to be kidding me. I said, I scraped and I went through everything like crazy, like trying to just finish this thing in under 50 minutes. And you're challenging me to go even a minute faster. I tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. I couldn't even get close. I mean, I was hitting like 50 minutes. I was hitting like 50.02 or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how the heck I got 49:58. And so one day I was, again, it was probably about 11 o'clock at night. I said I did a couple of runs, practice runs, and I was still above 50. And I said, all right, you know what, let's just do another recording and whatever, just nothing out of the ordinary, just keep doing it. Bam, I did it. 48:57 game time. I was just blown away that I was able to pull that off, that I got it even a minute faster. And even if you look at speedrun.com and look under the all bosses 100%, all that, no major glitches, you will see my name there. The page name, One Forsaken Gaming. You will see me there. No doubt about it. So, um, but anyway, so that's memories that I'm going to cherish with me the rest of my life. Will I ever beat that time? Yeah, I don't know. But for the time being, I'm probably just going to stay retired for the moment. Um, just because it takes a lot out of you to do speed runs for these games. I actually did play the game last night, and I got about 51:02 or something like that was my time. So I still got it in me, but it's going to take some real practice and some like rethinking of a few things just to try to get a little bit faster. I think overall, if I were to actually do a little bit to actually do a run faster than this, then it would be probably like maybe 48, like 45 or something like that. I'm not going to take off a whole lot of time from this if I want to do it. But again, I have to be committed to that. And right now, I've got so much other content I'm trying to do right now, and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, back into the game though. There's several sections of the game. You start off, obviously, when the main pirate ship, you have to go down to SR 388, and you're just scavenging through. You're finding missile tanks, energy tanks, your latent abilities. You start with the morph ball, so you don't have to find that one. But like the spring ball, ice beam, wave beam, as I said, energy tanks, missile tanks. I don't think there's really, and the wall jump boots, the high jump boots, screw attack, all that stuff is in this game, just like the original Metroid. So they're all scattered throughout the ship, the planet. And the funny thing is like the bosses in this are there's two bosses, just like in the original Metroid. Then this one they're called the Rock Monster, and a lot of people will call the second one, which was the Ridley knockoff, which they call him Pogo Boss, because it literally looks like it's a dude standing on something like a pogo stick that just keeps jumping up and down, just like Ridley does in when you fight him in Metroid. And then the rock monster is just like a Kraid knockoff that just basically shoots little claws at you and missiles, and or shoots at you just like Kraid does in the actual game Metroid as well. So they're identical. They just look entirely different. And believe me though, the game is not easy. much like any kind of ROM hack or fan made game, a lot of these fan made games are made to challenge your skill in terms of the original what the original game was actually put out to be. So if you thought the original one was challenging, this one you're definitely gonna need some help on it, especially the final boss in the game. It's just a big giant Metroid, but it opens up when you shoot the one spot. It opens up like the mother brain, and then you have to shoot it with so many missiles before it explodes, and then you have to go and get the heck out of Dodge essentially. And the whole thing, the premise that leads up to that is just there's, as I was saying earlier, there's just so many ways that you can just explore this game. I said a lot of nooks and crannies that you can get yourself into. There's even what they call there's several like Metroid arts like spread throughout the entire game. There's basically one in each and every section of the game. SR388, the Pogo Boss layer, the Rock Monster layer, the ship. I mean, there's just everywhere. There's just the Turian. I mean, there's just all kinds of little Metroid things all over the place. There's a Ridley art, so I think, or yeah, there's a Ridley art in there as well. I mean, there's just little things that were thrown in. As it was a really, really well designed game. Um, as I said, I will be posting the link to the world record run in my description, so please do check it out. Uh, but moving on to the last thing I want to go over is the overall experience, and I think I've kind of touched on that a bunch here. But when you're done with the game, you just get that feeling that wow, this was amazing. The troubles that you go through, the everything, the struggles of trying to find extra items, where what walls you need to blow away, what to move on to another area. Oh hey, I found a missile tank. Now how do I get there? Or an energy tank. How do I get there? Or maybe there's a faster way to get someplace or something like that if you're trying to be a speed runner of the game. I myself am not a very great speed runner. I'm actually surprised, I was able to get this as far as I did. Now, I've seen speed runners that do this in any percentage that can have this game done in less than 20 minutes. But for me to do this, and I actually had, when I submitted my run to speedrun.com, actually MST was the one who actually who approved my run, and he said that was quite amazing. So I felt kind of special saying that, hey, he's a speedrunner himself, and he's telling me I even had one of my friends, who's also a world record holder for several fan made ROM hacks of Super Metroid, Stunt MK. He has also uh, praised my run for this game. And honestly, as I said, it just has about everything. I mean, exploration, adventure, challenge, if you want to put that in there. It's an amazing, amazing game. I can't stress that enough. If you have not played it at all, please, please, please do check it out. If you have an NES, you can find usually copies of this, of like physical copies such as this one on eBay. Just please, just go ahead. I said it's sometimes on occasion you'll find the Famicom version of it. Um, but overall, I said please do check this game out. Graphically, it looks amazing as well for an NES cartridge. I actually have a version of this on the Dreamcast, downloaded to the Dreamcast, and all it did was brighten it up. Essentially, it made the sprites kind of brighter and stuff like that, so it's a lot more clear, versus like maybe just not, or it's like smoother, like the textures are smoother and all that goodness. But the overall game itself is the same. Um, but please, again, do check this game out. I strongly recommend that you do so. And yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up this run, or this segment, I should say, for Just Chatting on 1FG Archives. Next time on the segment, we're going to be starting to talk about my top 25 games of all time. We're going to be going through 21 through 25. And then we'll just do in each segment, we'll continue down to the very top, the top one. Now, if you are interested, you can actually see what my top 2 through 10 are currently on over on the Facebook side on facebook.com/1forsaken gaming. All of my top 10 is pinned to the top, and if you want to read the actual reviews that I wrote for each of those games, you can check that out as well, and just click on the link. It'll take you straight there. on that particular game review. So we'll be also reading all the top 10 games. I will be rereading those those reviews that I did write for each of those individual games. So anyway, but that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Again, please do check this game out if you can, very much, and give it a run. Even if Metroid is not really your strong point or anything like that, just please do check this game out, and you won't be disappointed. But again, that's it for this. You can check me out again on facebook.com/oneforsakengaming. You can check out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/oneforsakengaming, Instagram, Discord. My link to Discord is over on the Twitch side, and also, as you know, right here on YouTube at 1FG Archives. So make sure you do subscribe or follow and all that goodness. And yeah, that's going to end it for this one. So we will see you next time.